Hello, we are the Native Americans. This is our beautiful home, Texas. Texas is divided into 4 regions: Great Plains, Central Plains, Coastal Plains, and finally mountains and basins. These regions shape our daily lives. Shall we take a look? Let's go.
Hello, I am Quanah Parker. I am the leader of the Comanche tribe, and the Great Plains is my home. Our environment, climate, and resources affect our daily lives. One example of this is buffalo. The abundance of buffalo in the Great Plains make us dependent on them. Us Comanche folk use these buffalo for food, shelter, and even clothing. As for the climate, the Great Plains is dry, hot, arid, and vast, but how is it like in the coastal plains?
Hello, I am from the Karankawa tribe and I live in the coastal plains. The coastal plains affects my daily life with its climate, resources, environment, and more. Living here, our primary food source is fish through fishing on the coast. Additionally, we like to build our houses on or near the coast because the proximity to water is ideal. The climate here is moist and humid with great amounts of rainfall. Shall we learn how it is in the mountains and basins region?
Hello again. As you may know, we are the Apache tribe. The mountains and basins region shapes our lives by providing essential resources and making our lifestyles highly nomadic. The hot, dry, desert climate of this region forces us to adopt a nomadic lifestyle. This is the Rio Grande River. It acts as a vital source of water and a southern and western border. Next up is the North Central Plains.
Hello, I am a part of the Wichita tribe. The North Central Plains provides U.S. great land for agriculture. We are able to grow crops and also hunt buffalo. The climate in this region is very dry, with cold winters and extremely hot summers.
Hello, I'm Alvar Núñez Corbesor de Vicar. I am a Spanish explorer and the first European to set foot on Texas. This is my story. I started my expedition on the southeastern coast, where I landed in Florida. In Florida, we met a native tribe that insisted we search north. 6 months later, we fled Florida. After sailing the Gulf of Mexico, we ended up on Galveston Island. In Galveston, I met the Karankawa tribe, and they took me as a slave. I worked many years as a healer and trader, and even gained sympathy for the natives. Eventually, I left my tribe and made my way to Spanish-claimed territory. From there, I was able to sail back home to Europe. I then went on to make a document of my experience with the natives and Texas. I wrote of fertile and rich soil, along with gold. This caused many other conquistadors to explore Texas and for Spain to conquer it.
Hello, my name is La Salle and I am a French explorer. This is my story. Me and my crew set out to build a French settlement at the mouth of the Mississippi River. However, many ships were destroyed or lost due to pirates and severe weather, but due to my poor navigation, we missed the mouth of the Mississippi River and landed in Matagorda Bay. Unaware, we built our settlement. This forced Spain to strengthen their claim to Texas out of fear. Thus, Spain started building missions and presidios all over Texas. Eventually, I was sadly killed by my own men. Soon after, Fort St. Louis also fell due to mutiny and attacks from natives.
Colonialism is when people of one region conquer land in another region. Colonialism has impacted places all over the world.
Missions are religious settlements that were built by Spain and Texas to convert Native Americans to Catholicism. There are many missions in the state of Texas. Friars were religious missionaries that converted natives to Catholicism. Friars helped spread Catholicism in Texas. Presidios are military forts that were used to protect missions and house soldiers. Presidios housed soldiers and their families. Tejanos are Texans of Mexican descent. A large demographic of people in Texas are Tejanos. This is the Alamo, the most popular Spanish mission ever built. In these Spanish missions, friars would teach natives about religion and convert them to Catholicism. However, many natives were defiant, so the missions ultimately failed. Nonetheless, Spanish culture spread throughout Texas. Spanish and Mexican culture merged to create Tejano culture.
Hello, I'm Catholic priest Father Miguel Hidalgo y Costia. Although being a Catholic priest isn't the only important thing I've done, I also led a rebel group that helped secure Mexican independence.
In 1810, Father Miguel Hidalgo rang his church bell and delivered the cry of Dolores. This led to a long battle for Mexico's independence from Spain. In 1821, Mexico won its independence from Spain, marking a major win in Mexican history. 3 years later, Mexico adopted the Constitution of 1824. The Constitution decentralized power, giving power to the states and creating 3 branches of government. The executive branch is headed by the president, introduces legislative bills, and manages national operations. The legislative branch debates, creates, and passes laws. The judicial branch interprets laws, applies laws to cases, and evaluates the constitutionality of laws. The Constitution also established Roman Catholicism as Mexico's official state religion. The law of April 6, 1830 is a result of the Mir y Terran Report. It banned U.S. immigration, banned new slaves, suspended impresario contracts, and put large tariffs on imports. The fight of Texas's independence started at the Battle of Gonzales. Texans were able to fight off Mexican forces after Mexico tried to retrieve a cannon they gave to Texas. The second pivotal moment is the Battle of the Alamo. After a 13-day siege, Mexico took back the Alamo, also known as San Antonio de Valero. During this, Commander William B. Travis died fighting for the Alamo and Texas. In 1836, Mexico executed 445 Texans that they took as prisoners. This was a major turning point and further escalated the war. It was named the Goliad Massacre. Led by Sam Houston, the final and decisive battle of the Texas Revolution was the Battle of San Jacinto. This battle was extremely short, lasting only 18 minutes. Eventually, Santa Anna was forced to surrender and fled. However, he was eventually captured and forced to sign the Treaty of Velasco, granting Texas its independence. Texas officially became its own country, called the Republic of Texas, in 1836. However, Mexico claimed that they weren't independent because Santa Anna was a prisoner when he signed the Treaty of Velasco. Mirabeau Lamar is the second president of the Republic of Texas. Lamar believed they should have a strong military, which would be done through the expansion of the military. Lamar believed Texas should be independent and rejected annexation. The Manifest Destiny was an American ideology that said that the United States was divinely ordained by God to expand westward. Anson Jones was the fourth president of the Republic of Texas, and the reason Texas was annexed. In 1845, Texas was annexed to the United States, becoming the 28th state under U.S. President Polk.
Hello, I am Abraham Lincoln, the 16th President of the United States, and I aim to abolish slavery.
Southern states did not like this. Because cheap manual labor was their economic driver, they feared that without slavery, their economy would crash. So they seceded from the Union and formed the Confederacy. They hoped to keep slaves on plantations so they can export cotton. Because of this, the Civil War had officially begun, with the North fighting against the South. On November 19, 1863, President Lincoln delivered the Gettysburg Address, which redefined the war and what they were fighting for. The Emancipation Proclamation was issued by President Lincoln on January 1, 1863, signifying the end of slavery in the U.S. On April 9, 1865, the Confederates surrendered after the collapse of the Confederacy. After the Civil War, Reconstruction started in the South after the Confederates lost. Black codes were laws passed after the Civil War designed to limit the freedom of newly emancipated African Americans. On January 10, 1901, the Lucas Gusher erupted. This was the catalyst for the Age of Oil in Texas. This was the first ever major oil strike, led by Captain Anthony F. Lucas. This event started the oil booms and expanded the oil industry. It produced 37,800,000 gallons of oil before it was brought under control. On June 28, 1914, Archduke Franz Ferdinand was assassinated by a Serbian nationalist. This led to Austria-Hungary declaring war on Serbia and the start of World War I. Eventually, Arthur Zimmerman created the Zimmerman Telegram. The Zimmerman Telegram was a proposal to Mexico to join the war against the U.S. They promised Mexico a few U.S. territories in exchange. Mexico refused, but this forced the U.S. to join the war. Americans struggled on the home front as well, including poverty, starvation, and mass deaths. The Roaring Twenties were a decade-long era in U.S. history that entailed economic, social, and cultural change. The radio and television became popular, making broadcasting and entertainment mainstream. Figures like Charlie Chaplin and Marilyn Monroe became popular due to their relevance in entertainment. The advancements during this era allowed for the urbanization and economic growth of Texas. Civil rights are fundamental guarantees of equal social opportunities, fair treatment, and equal protection under the law. Barbara Jordan was a Texas politician who broke political barriers by becoming the first black woman elected to the Texas Senate. Most schools and cities were segregated in the 1900s. This means white people and people of color were separated. Desegregation is the process of ending the systemic separation of groups. Desegregation happened in the mid-1900s and ended racial segregation.